Newly released ex-con Triple H is hoping to put his shameful past behind him and turn his life around. He then spends the rest of the movie being an accomplice to a bank robbery, stalking his loved ones, and endangering some high schoolers. We kick off this year's WrestleMania with The Chaperone, today on Nothing Movies.
Chaperone? I thought it said Chapel Roan.
Oh, who is that? Who is that?
That's
person?
the Pink Pony Club lady.
Okay.
She was like the most famous pop star in the world last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I guess technically is currently the most famous pop star. She's the one that... here's my second round of that joke here.
Okay. Oh, this was a bit.
This is a bit. Hold on here. Hottogo, more like Triple Hottogo. See, I thought of that yesterday.
Oh, well done, Kaz.
And as soon as I thought of it, I realized that's clearly...
Going on Mike.
That's
too good to waste.
Two things. One, that's clearly the stupidest joke I've ever thought of. Two, that has to be how we open the episode, but I did not account for the fact that you did not know who Chapel Roan was.
Nope. As I got here, I was just talking about my history of seeing AC/DC twice.
Yes.
A band that I don't even put in my top 10, but I've seen them twice.
Well, there we go.
And they're in town as of this recording, so there you go.
It was my mistake for thinking either of us had our pulse on the
pop culture,
on the society for this ostensible pop culture podcast with which we are talking about. And what podcast is this? It's Nothing Movies. And welcome back, however you wish to self-identify, to Nothing Movies, where we ask the question, the fuck is this? It's the podcast where we go through an actor's filmography and we choose the most anonymous and culturally untalked about movies that they've made and decide whether or not they've got a certain something or if they're just a whole lot of nothing, but once a year.
A special time of year.
A very special time of year when the calendar flips over and we go from the 4th month of the year to the 5th month of the year. We do a little something. We do a little something special on this show, and we stop becoming a podcast about the careers of actors, and we become a podcast about the careers of wrestlers as actors.
Who are trying to act.
Who are trying their hardest.
To varying degrees of success.
And in some cases, not their hardest at all.
Yeah.
And it is when we stop becoming Nothing Movies. Well, we're still Nothing Movies, but we are Nothing Movies presents WrestleMania!
The cream of the crop. We've been to the top of the mountain.
We've been doing this every year since we started the podcast, and we will continue doing it until time memoriam, because you understand the word May, meaning the 5th month of the year, fits nicely inside the phrase.
So perfectly.
I know. And then when we came up with that, I remember, I'm still riding the high of coming up with the concept of WrestleMania. So we do it every year.
We certainly do, yeah.
Here we are. I'm Kaz Lescard.
And I'm Jameson Rafter.
And today, to kick things off, we are talking about 2011's The Chaperone, starring the current... He's not the president of WWE, right? Because they sold it to the Saudis?
No, what is it? Like Endure or in like some kind of entertainment conglomerate.
He's like their business manager.
Yeah. He was, I don't know, like the CFO. CCO.
He had a job that you could fit into an acronym.
Yeah. 3 letters. And that would be another 3-letter man.
The 3-letter man, a 3-letter title for a 3-letter man. Triple H, a man who goes by the name of Hunter. I should have looked this up.
Hirsch Hemsley. Hunter Hirsch Hemsley.
Hunter Hirsch Hemsley. Which, of course, is not his name at all. His name is Paul Michael Levesque. A name that, if you take a close look at it, is noticeably absent of H's.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
I guess there's one in there. Should have called him Middle H. Because it's in the middle of Michael. And they could be all like, why do they call you Middle H?
Yeah.
And then he'd just be all like, because
there's no H's in your name. We're going to call you Triple H. That's my Vince McMahon impression.
And what did he and like most professional wrestlers, he had like a couple of nom de plumes before he settled on Triple H. I was looking this up earlier today, and I should have written it down.
I mean, from what I vaguely remember, when he was doing like all the other independent circuits before he joined WWE. Yeah, he went by like so many different wrestling names.
It was Terra Rising. Was his
Mm-hmm.
official name. Rising spelled Ryzing. And he was a bit of like a fancy lad at a certain point, right? Like before he became the Triple H that we know today.
Yeah, like
he was like Mr. Ascot and
yeah, it was like sort of a play on like the aristocracy. He was like this spoiled blue blood kind of guy. Yeah. Like fancy rich heel kind of character. Yeah.
But 2011's The Chaperone, one of 3 live-action films that Triple H has decided to grace his presence with.
Mm-hmm.
The other one
on his road to becoming head of the fucking company.
And hey, it's a real fucking like Game of Thrones situation. Yeah. It's like, how did he become the head of the company? Mm-hmm. He married the boss's daughter.
Well, that's how you play the game. It's time to play the game.
And it was a storybook marriage that all great romances start off with them being forced to marry within the false narrative of the WWE world, and then after that, actually finding real
true
love.
And when they were hanging out more often, and
they're still together. So obviously, it works for them. It's working for them.
Yeah, I always thought that it was one of those things where they were an item sort of behind the scenes before they had to like marry in wrestling scenario, kayfabe, right? You're absolutely right. That happened after they had the storyline where Stephanie McMahon's wedding to Test was undermined by Triple H drugging her and taking her to like one of those drive-through chapels in Las Vegas.
That would make him the Chaperone. I don't know.
Oh, it's coming back. It all comes back.
I'm gonna keep coming. Every time you say something that remotely sounds like the name of this movie, I'm gonna force that joke in here.
Okay, great.
Just your standard storybook marriage.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You know, I gotta say, like, for a guy who I'm not gonna call the greatest wrestler or even the most important wrestler, but he's among the most influential wrestlers just based on his experience of reshaping WWE for the Attitude Era with Generation X, and then later becoming like the head of the fucking company. So he has left his mark on the world of sports entertainment in multiple ways. He's like tailor-made this conversation that his name has to be mentioned among all the luminaries.
I mean, as anyone who's been listening to this podcast for over the years that we've been doing this knows that I wouldn't even classify myself as a casual wrestling fan. I had like my dalliance with it in like the late 90s, early 2000s, the N64 era. I like to call it the WCW versus NWO revenge era, as I like to call it. But when I was like sort of like half paying attention to wrestling back then, I basically viewed WWE like they were like the big 3. For me, like the 3 important wrestlers, and then everyone else was like varying degrees of fame and success after that.
Sure.
And it was Stone Cold, The Rock, and Triple H. Those were the big 3. Those were the ones that you knew were like the big important ones, the ones that they would build the storylines around.
Yeah, who shaped the Attitude Era, which was a much needed shot in the arm for WWE at the time, which was, from what I remember, losing in the Monday Night Wars, because at the time WWF was bleeding some of their talent dry. Mm-hmm. They had all of the bad press from what happened to Bret Hart at the Montreal Screwjob. And a lot of the people that were sticking around were just like the really cartoonish, gimmicky wrestlers, which have their place in wrestling. But to keep that show alive, you have to keep reinventing it. You have to put some fresh blood into it. You can't just have fucking evil dentists running around all the time. Like, some of like the fans grow up, so you got to keep them engaged.
Alternatively,
all evil dentists?
All with just more health professionals.
Yeah.
More wrestlers that moonlight as something else. That's what I'm into. I mean, like, you talk about like the gimmicky wrestlers or whatever. I feel like Triple H best exemplifies the core. He's just like your all around wrestler. Like if you were like choosing like a dude in like a beat 'em up fighting game or whatever, he's like he's one
of the preset default characters.
Yeah, he's character number 1. There's nothing like remotely kind of like anything about him that like necessarily like stands out. You know, like Stone Cold is a hillbilly, and Mankind is crazy, and he's got shit all over his face and whatever. Triple H is a guy.
Yeah.
He's like a big guy.
He's a guy in trunks with like long hair and a beard.
And I'll just, I'll say it. That sort of like lack of any sort of identifiable deal does sort of carry over into his acting.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah. He doesn't have like a ton of personality to fall back on.
He doesn't have a shit ton of range, but from what I've seen of watching years of Triple H just being like the tough, gruff, no nonsense kind of guy in the ring, and then the same guy, but now he's in a suit. I thought he seemed like he was having fun.
Sure.
In the role, yeah. I think it was nice of him to or he felt it was good to like stretch his muscles a bit.
I mean, it's fair. I mean, number one, you have to stretch your muscles, otherwise you cramp up. Number two, I mean, he clearly does what he loves. That is thing, is taking the role within the company that I'm sure he's taken right now. I'm sure there are wrestlers who look back on their days with regrets and injuries and brain damage or whatever, but he clearly... He
wanted this.
His drive is the continued success of the WWE, especially now that it is in sort of a shaky period, given what has come to light of Vince McMahon and just that and the fact that Vince McMahon sold the company. So now it's sort of like in this somewhat shaky area. I'm speaking without really knowing much about the...
Did you check out that Mr. McMahon documentary?
I watched the first episode last night. I'm not into it. For some reason, I only thought it was 3 episodes, but it's quite long. So I will... You know what? By the end of this month... I will attempt to have watched all of it so that by the time we get to our 3rd WrestleMania episode, I'll be able to have some thoughts on it. But no, I only watched the first episode last night after I watched the movie. My only takeaway from that first episode, I had no idea that such an influential person in the early days of maybe not the early days, but like sort of like the late 80s, mid 90s of WWF, was Cyndi Lauper.
Oh, yeah.
I had no clue.
She brought it into the mainstream.
She did. Yeah. She actually kind of saved it. And that was wild. I had no idea. No clue.
And that's why like celebrities just like trip over themselves to have, an opportunity to appear at SummerSlam or WrestleMania or what have you. Yeah, they get in on it.
The other thing I noticed when I was watching the episode last night is, when you watch any of like these documentary TV shows or whatever, there's always like some ominous music that's underscoring like the documentary footage. I clocked like one string of the music at one point, and then I swear to God, like 15 minutes later, I realized it's all like they're just playing the same music. They're just playing like the same 30 seconds of like this one looping ominous music trap over and over and over again. Like they couldn't even shell out for like any other standard comes with a laptop backing tracks.
Yeah, they paid the licensing fee for like some audio library available on YouTube. Yeah. I mean, if anyone wants to put eyes on that documentary, like most of the footage was clearly shot before all the scandals came to light about Vince McMahon.
Well, it's what happens in like the early minutes of the first episode. It's like they're talking to Vince, and then they get like, and who knows how orchestrated this was, but it seems like they get like the bombshell mid-interview, and then Vince has to be all like, I gotta go, I gotta put out a fire.
And then the rest of the series is just mostly chronicling the last 40 or so years, but the real scandalous, salacious stuff happens in like maybe the last 2 episodes.
Sure, so if you want to jump to the end, you can do
Pretty
that
much.
as well too.
Yeah, but going back to Triple H here, he was absolutely tailor-made to go far in this business. Because, he went through the right channels to get into professional wrestling. And while he was there, he started really leaning in on what the creative team were doing. He was checking in on the writer's room. He was shadowing Pat Patterson and Vince McMahon and just anybody that he could learn about the business side of running a show and not just being a performer. And his influence, I think, was for the betterment of it. Because, for as shrewd and as crafty as a marketer and businessman Vince was, he was kind of a bit of a dinosaur on how to put on a show. He didn't really want to change shit up too much. And it was a guy who actually came up through wrestling who said, there's more to this than just like big beefy guys slamming into each other, right? Like some of them have their own ideas on what they want to do with the character. Some of them may have ideas on how they want to evolve the character. And, maybe some moves and matches that they want to try out because they think it would be fun. They just wanted to have more creative control and not just have, Vince say like, you sound like you're from Russia, so you're going to be an evil Russian,
We do hate the Russians. That
Yes.
is true, yes. I was reminded that when I was watching that first episode that there's a documentary about the Iron Sheik that I want. I really want
I hear that's very good.
Yes, I want to check that out because I'm interested in that perspective of the guy who's hired not only to play the heel, but the foreign heel. So it's like you are like basically like agreeing. You will have like some level of like sports entertainment fame, but you're basically agreeing to like get people to like hurl milkshakes at you as you walk down the street.
Yeah,
because like at the time Islamophobia must have been through. I say at the time, but it's like
but in the middle of like the Reagan era, 80s, absolutely. And so he had to have been in conflict with himself at times, and found resignation and resolutions. In hindsight, he was absolutely right to hate Hulk Hogan.
Sure. Yeah, he was ahead of the pack.
The world owes the Iron Sheik an apology.
How times have changed. Yeah. So Triple H is a lot like a guy who gets hired onto a sitcom that gets insanely popular and long running, and then maybe in like the second or the third season he starts talking to the camera crew a lot more, starts talking to the line guys a lot more, really understanding like the nuts and bolts of the thing, and then
Absolutely.
maybe by season 4 he's directing episodes.
Sure,
and then before you know it, we got a regular old Ronnie Howard on our hands.
That's right. Good example.
Except he's a big old muscly man.
Sure. Yeah. Yes.
So Triple H, in terms of being an actor, if we want to seg into that, I don't know if you have anything else you wanted to say about the man.
Of the man, no. Because by the time I started getting back into watching wrestling with my buddies, I was around WrestleMania 30. By that point, he would show up for main events at WrestleMania, what have you. But he wasn't a regular card fighter.
He was already sort of transitioning into the business side of things.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I think most people probably recognize Triple H from his debut film performance, which would be the third Blade film, Blade Trilogy, in which he is a spooky vampire with Parker Posey. I believe he has little vampire dogs.
Okay.
And that's a pretty terrible movie that famously had a bunch of behind-the-scenes drama going on while they were filming it. I know there's a famous interview with Patton Oswalt, who plays a small role in that, who tells all of these stories, like Wesley Snipes refused to have anyone refer to him as anything other than Blade. He would leave notes for the director and sign them Blade. He would go into his trailer and smoke pot all day. He would barely talk to anybody. A lot of those claims have been disputed by Wesley Snipes, so who's to say?
Sure, yeah.
Who's to say what the real story is? It is not a good movie by any stretch of the imagination, but I feel fairly confident in saying it's probably Triple H's best performance.
Okay.
He's well suited to playing like villain number 3.
Yeah, as a hulking henchman.
Yeah.
In a Marvel movie. Yeah, I could totally track that.
And then the only other 2 movies he has made, both came out in the same year, 2011, the same year. One of them, of course, is today, the film that we're talking about today, The Chaperone. Now, sometimes for this podcast, I will watch a movie for research purposes. Before we get here, just to give myself a little more context, maybe about the director, maybe about the actors or whatnot. The day before I watched The Chaperone, it was like a Sunday evening, and I was just looking for something silly to put on. And I was browsing through Tubi, and I found the only other Triple H live action movie.
The third H.
The third H. There you go. So I have now seen the entire filmography, on-camera filmography of Paul Levesque. The third movie that he made, also released in 2011, also from WWE Films.
Oh, shock of
Oh,
shock.
you don't believe it.
Knock me over with a feather.
Is a film that, confusing and annoyingly, is called Inside Out.
Oh no.
One of those things where they take like a generic title for your like dumb wrestling action movie, and then 3 years later, a much more successful and popular and beloved film with the same title comes out.
So you gotta search like Inside Out 2011
you always gotta include the year in this one here.
Come to think of it, isn't there another movie called The Chaperone that like came out?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I was looking on IMDb for it, yeah, 2 of them came up. I
Yep.
believe the other Chaperone stars like Elizabeth McGovern from Downton Abbey.
Yeah,
and it's like
it's a real period drama.
You're not going to confuse these movies, basically, is what I'm saying. So yeah, anyway, in Inside Out, Triple H, of course, plays a 9-year-old girl who has lots of emotions. No, of course, no. Actually, in the film Inside Out, he plays, if you can fucking believe it, Jameson, a guy who's just getting out of prison.
So he's found his wheelhouse.
And he's met by his, if you can believe, he's met by his childhood friend who's played by Michael Rappaport.
Okay.
Who plays, if you can fucking believe it, a motormouth criminal type.
Oh, okay. Sleepwalking through this movie, I take
it. And yes, and while Triple H was in prison, Michael Rappaport has married his childhood girlfriend, who is played by Parker Posey.
Oh, okay.
And as I was watching it, I was thinking, it's all like, this is fucking random. Parker Posey in like a WWE movie as the love interest. And then I remembered halfway through, oh no, fuck, they're co-stars.
That's right.
They've already, so her casting makes the most sense in this movie. So
had her on speed dial.
So I'm going to breeze through this because we're never going to cover this movie.
Gotcha, you got it.
Because it is kind of interesting to talk about. So Triple H went away for like 13 years because he didn't squeal on a guy. He's like a good guy. He comes out.
Sounds familiar.
And Michael Rappaport has this criminal father played by
Eric Roberts.
Slightly classier. Although another Academy Award nominee. No, the criminal father is played by Bruce Dern.
Oh, okay.
Really slumming in this movie. Who is this crime lord / veterinarian? They kind of never get into that. But Bruce Dern's racket is he sells cigarettes to convenience stores, and then he pockets the government sales tax. A really lame criminal enterprise to be like the cornerstone of the movie that you're making or whatever. And
it's under the radar crime, you know?
Well, it's not quite under the radar because he's being followed by like a tax agent. Who is played by the actress who played Shia LaBeouf's mom in the Transformers movies.
Oh,
who eats the pot brownies and like tackles people.
Okay.
And like when she showed up, I'm like, oh, that actress, interesting. This lady's like the second lead of the movie.
Oh, really?
Like she's in way more of it than I thought she was going to be. There's an entire subplot where she goes to visit her ailing father in hospice care, who's in the same hospice care as Triple H's mom. And there's all these scenes where they like keep missing each other in the hallway, and I'm like, is this ever going to come to anything? It doesn't.
Oh.
And then basically the plot is Rappaport accidentally shoots a guy that he shouldn't have shot, and they gotta get rid of the body. And Triple H, he thought he was out, but they pulled him back in, and all he wants to do is make artisanal pickles. That's another huge plot thread of the movie, is that when he was in jail, a lifer inside taught him how to make pickles, and now that he's out, that's all he wants to do. He wants to make pickles. Should have called the movie The Pickle Man. That would have set it apart.
Wasn't there a Seth Rogen movie about
That's true. They could have called it An American Pickle.
That's the one, yeah.
And then like years later, Seth Rogen's all like, that's a good idea.
All right, so are you saying that you would rather we covered this movie for the show, or?
I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. We might have been better off watching anything other than the movie that we're talking about today. Yeah.
Okay.
Look, Inside Out isn't very good, but
the Triple H one, not the Disney one.
Not the Disney one's delightful. Anger. It's side tangent only because you brought it up. You only have yourself to blame. Inside Out is like that thing where it's like the Pixar worlds where if you think about it for like 2 fucking seconds, the entire thing just completely falls apart.
Sure.
Like there's in the sequel, there's like this moment where they're all drawing pictures or something, and Anger draws like a little puppy or whatever, and everyone's all like, oh, and he's all like, what? I can't be the rage guy all the time. And I'm just all like, your name is Anger! You're the manifestation of hair. So yeah, I don't know.
That got a big reaction out of the crowd when I saw that in theaters. Everyone went, "Aw." So I don't know. Maybe
he's angry all the time. That's the whole point.
Just like
That's
you
his
are.
whole nom de plume.
just like you.
Yeah, and I never drop that. I'm always within the kayfabe. Well, I would be anger if I was. You'd be good times.
Oh, thanks.
You'd be like you'd try to think of like.
No, I'd probably be like all the characters in the Dad's heads who are just watching hockey all the time.
Right, that's right. Yes.
Like really checked
You'd have
out.
all of them. Yeah, they all have mustaches, even though you yourself do not have a mustache. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're killing time because there's not much to say about Triple H.
No, he doesn't have much of a film career. I kind of just breezed through everything I kind of know about him.
And everything else, every other acting credit he's had up until now has been a voiceover performance, usually as himself. He's in 2 of the WWE Scooby-Doo movies. He is, of course, in the infamous Surfs Up to Wave Mania, in which noted sociopath Vince McMahon voices a seal who drinks fish with a straw. Look at that clip up on YouTube. That's a thing that exists now. And is
quite possibly the worst thing Vince McMahon has ever done.
It's up there. It's definitely on the list. I haven't got to the end of the documentary yet, so don't spoil things for me. But he seems like a great guy. He seems like your classic never did anything wrong sort of fella.
Well, you sure you want to get that on air?
I see no issue there.
All right.
And I see no reason to extend this this introduction any longer than we have. So
I wish I had more to say. I messaged Scott if he had any thoughts on friend of the show, Scott Murray, who's like a super wrestling fan. I asked him any thoughts on Triple H, but he's like vacationing with his family now, so yeah.
He has no time to think
about. No time for this bullshit.
Right.
I know Triple H used to swing a sledgehammer as his weapon of choice.
That's very dangerous.
Well,
you can send a man to the morgue with that.
It would be dangerous if it were fucking real.
Wait, wrestling is real? I mean, I've been going with that. I'm gonna say joke aborted.
Okay.
I don't know. All right.
Yes.
Let's do this. Let's go on this delightful school field trip.
We'll need a chaperone, though.
We will need a chaperone. I can't stop saying chaperone. It's really hard for me to say the name of this movie because my mind keeps setting it to the pop star. Yes, the Chaperone. Very clearly aiming for that era. I mean, like, this fits squarely into that era of, like, big tough guys surround them with kids bullshit that started with Kindergarten Cop
and then the Pacifier or Tooth Fairy or what have you.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to build themselves as one of those. But I think it's a sneaky family drama about an ex-con who's trying to reunite with his estranged teenage daughter. So I wasn't expecting that angle of it.
WWE films really can't get away from, like, the searing melodrama, like that weirdly sneaks into every one of their films that we've seen up until now.
Yeah.
I'm almost worried that if we watch one of those Scooby-Doo ones,
it'll be like BoJack Horseman and really existential.
Yeah, there'll be like a whole thing where like Fred knocks on a door and like an older man in an ascot comes out and it's all like, well, what's all this then? He's like, hi, Dad.
Yeah. Fred Senior,
and it's still like 87-year-old Frank Welker who's still doing the fucking voice.
Oh yeah, he has been
doing that since like
the 70s,
literally the beginning. There has never not been Frank Welker doing the voice of Fred outside of like a weird outliers, like I know Zac Efron did, and Freddie Prinze Jr. and stuff like that. But
that's it. Those are the outliers.
All the animated shit's been like the same old ass man. But whatever, it's Frank Welker. He's the guy.
He's a legend.
He can do all the animal sounds. We should save this for
when we cover
a possible future episode. But anyway, that might be a tease. It might not. Who knows? We live in uncertain times. But all you can be certain of is that after this break, we'll be right back.
Oh, how about that? Yeah, let us know in the comments if you want us to talk about the voice actor for Fred.
Just in its own episode.
Yeah.
Like, we won't even watch a movie.
Because you demanded it.
and we are nothing if beholden to your will. Okay.
Bye. See you in a minute.
And we're unaccompanied.
Uh-oh.
We need someone to
we
show
need
us where to be.
We need an adult.
We need an adult. The Chaperone, as you will, was directed by Stephen Herrick.
Yeah.
I am very excited to run down this guy's
sure
filmography.
you are.
You took a peek at it.
I took a peek and I looked at this and I was like, fuck. Kaz has got a lot of thoughts about this.
Is this maybe in fact the reason why Kaz insisted we do The Chaperone? So I could mention this director's filmography?
Yeah.
Very possibly.
No.
Stephen Herrick, if you are not immediately familiar with him as a name.
Oh, you'll be familiar with the works.
This guy has directed a significant chunk of 90s childhood nostalgia. You have absolutely, if you are remotely anywhere between our age, you have absolutely watched a movie that he has directed at some point. So his debut film is the cult classic horror comedy Critters.
Yeah.
Sort of like a cheap Gremlins knockoff that
has its own charm and has its own following.
And has gone on to be a long-running series in its own right. And then he immediately followed that up with Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, The Mighty Ducks.
God damn. Ducks fly together.
The Three Musketeers, the Disney one with Kiefer Sutherland.
And
Charlie Sheen, Mr. Holland's Opus, which is not a good movie, but if you took Band in the 90s, you absolutely were forced to watch that at some point in time.
I mean, with a title like that, you just couldn't get away from it. It sticks in your mind with a title like that. Yeah.
101 Dalmatians
the Glenn Close
with
one.
Glenn Close.
Yeah.
Then the wheels start falling off the wagon a little bit.
Yeah, oddly so.
Now we're entering the nothing movies territory. These are all movies that have completely faded from memory, but all of them at the very least got theatrically released. Holy Man with Eddie Murphy. Rockstar with Mark Wahlberg.
Which I kind of liked.
Life or Something Like It with Angelina Jolie. Man of the House with Tommy Lee Jones. And now we're entering straight to DVD, straight to streaming, doldrums. He directed Into the Blue 2, The Reef, the sequel to the Paul Walker, Jessica Alba movie that stars neither Paul Walker or Jessica Alba. He recently directed, last year, he had a Netflix Lindsay Lohan Christmas movie, Our Little Secret. So he's still out there.
Yep,
he's still working, but he has definitely fallen from grace somewhat based on those earlier titles that I just listed.
You know, he has that strong string of classics under his belt that he probably doesn't need to prove himself.
No,
anymore
I have a
point.
feeling right now he's just taking whatever job he can because absolutely, you said it right, Jameson. He made the Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, he made Bill and Ted. Goddammit,
he has nothing left to prove at this point. It's not like how sad that this guy's there. It's just like he's just working.
Yeah.
At this point in time, he's just working because that's what directors do. They direct shit.
For sure.
So I'm sure he's just happy.
Veteran seasoned.
Anytime he's on set, and I'm sure on breaks or whatever, people come and they ask him questions about Keanu and Emilio.
Yeah.
He worked with both of the Sheens. So
hey, how about that?
There you go.
Yeah.
But
then he directed this.
Which I haven't gone through his letter period, but it's definitely
a bad sign.
It's closer to the bottom, I have to imagine. This film is a co-production between WWE Films and Samuel Goldwyn. I was so shocked when I saw that austere blue background handwriting.
Yeah.
Every time I
the
see
signature,
every time I see that, it's like usually in front of like an art house movie, like Master and Commander, or something like that. But I guess in the 2010s, Samuel Goldwyn struck a deal with WWE Films because they released a ton of these things.
Yeah.
Shocking to see that there.
So, which studio do you think influenced whom in this? Who won most of the tug of wars?
Oh, there could have been. Well, who won the tug of war? Probably the company that's known for tugging.
Yeah.
And wrestling.
Yeah.
No, there could have been a little more Samuel Goldwyn influence on this particular one. But yes, so Triple H, as I mentioned, in my previous review of the other movie.
He plays an ex-con and he's getting out of jail.
I just want my kids back.
I just want my kids back. He's a reformed criminal. He was the wheelman in some heist, and they didn't capture his accomplices, but he took the fall and he didn't rat on them.
Now, I have to imagine, it's like, he's been in jail for like, what, 7 years whatever?
They say 7 years.
I have to imagine when he was the wheelman, he maybe didn't look like Triple H at this point.
No.
7 years in prison will turn you into a Triple H.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, later on in the movie when they say, you're the best wheelman in town, I'm all like...
You're not going to have this guy as the muscle?
Someone who looks like him. Yeah, he looks like he weighs down a car.
Yeah.
he makes the car heavier
Yeah.
just by virtue of being in the car. So I can't imagine.
Like, that getaway car must have been a Hummer,
Yeah.
which wouldn't have...
It's like Mario Kart. Like, Bowser is the fastest character, but his handling is terrible. So that's the trade-off there.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, Triple H is playing...
Ray Broadstone.
I think it's Bradstone.
Bradstone.
But it doesn't matter because we're going to call him Triple H. But the running joke is that he used to be known as Ray Bradstone, and now that he's out of prison, he's a new man.
Yeah.
It's just Ray.
It's just
and
Ray.
Get ready for a whole fuckload of that.
Within the first 5 minutes, there are so many iterations of the Ray. It's just Ray. Hey, Ray. No, I just go by Ray now. Like, say Ray again, motherfucker. I dare you. Yeah. It was infuriating, and I was like, oh, god damn it. Do we got to start a drinking game on this already?
This movie thinks that is hilarious.
Good luck, Ray. From now on, it's just Ray. Just plain Ray.
Ray. Now look at me, Ray. Look at me, Ray. Come on, Ray. I'll give you a ride to wherever you want. Come on, Ray.
It's Ray. Plain Ray.
What happened to the other Ray?
Ray.
It's just Ray. Plain Ray.
Ray.
Yeah. So he's getting out of prison. He has a cardboard box, which he brings up to a guard and says, like, here, you can have this. And there was a split second, Jameson, I swear to God, I was really hoping it was jars of pickles. If it could just be like, if this was like the carryover between the things, but no, it's full of books.
It's full, like, particularly one on dinosaurs, which comes
that's gonna set up later.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But then I got to hear the word from Triple H that he loves dinosaurs, so that's one for the kids. So Triple H is a reformed criminal. I guess he spent all of 7 years doing like all this self-help stuff. He was a regular call-in guest on like this radio psychiatrist show.
He continues to be a regular call-in guest
Yeah.
throughout the plot of this movie.
Yeah. So that's kind of a nice little featured thing for
Dr. Marjorie. So
who's like this homespun Southern chama who gives him all these platitudes, like,
and I guess regularly just like takes random calls from incarcerated felons.
Yeah,
because I guess that makes for good radio.
I imagine.
And clearly
so.
She's doing great for herself.
Sure.
Yeah, why not?
No, that could make national headlines if something go that way. Yeah, she drops like such nuggets as, you are the inventor of your future. Every journey begins with a step. You know, just like fortune cookie stuff. My question for this show is, how late in the day do you think the show goes?
All day, baby.
Like,
it
is
never
this
stops.
24 hours?
Dr. Marjorie's here day and night. We never turn it off.
He calls her in the morning, like she answers. He calls him at night. She's still on air.
Here's the secret. There's 3 Dr. Marjories.
That's right.
There's a revolving door of Dr. Marjories.
Yeah.
They're all triplets.
Mm-hmm.
So just plain Ray gets released from prison. On his way out, he's talking to a guard who's very dismissive.
The guard is almost certain that he's going to wind up back in the slammer.
Well,
and I'm like, give the guy a fucking chance, you know?
Well, but it turns out to be a self-fulfilling prophecy because the guard's basically all like, the Triple H is saying like, what do guys generally do when they get out? And then the guard says like, probably something stupid. Like, you're probably going to do something stupid immediately.
Yeah.
And then to this guy's credit, like 5 minutes later, Triple H does steal a car.
In front of the prison.
In front of a jail.
Likely still in front of that guard.
Immediately commits a crime.
He's like, yep.
So he's actually not wrong at all.
So he gets picked up in like the orange Charger drives up next to Triple H. It's his old accomplice. LaRue.
Played by Kevin Corrigan, a great character actor.
You definitely know the face.
You definitely know the face. He's in Goodfellas. He's in a lot of gangster movies. I always remember him best as the brother from Grounded for Life. You ever watch that? It was like an all right sitcom on like Fox during like the 2000s or whatever. But that's what I always associate him with. He's the guy that you call when Michael Rappaport is busy on your other WWE film. So he picks him up, and it's very clear that there's lots of bad blood between these two.
Yeah.
Now, okay, I'm going to pump the brakes on the comparisons to Inside Out right here, but I do have to bring this up.
Okay.
It was around this point that my mouth kind of fell open watching these two movies back to back, because at like the 5-minute mark of this movie, I'm just sitting there, I'm just going like, these movies have the exact same opening. Triple H gets released from prison. He's met by his former criminal buddy, who picks him up in a car. And then in both films, Triple H says, I want to drive the car. I've been behind bars for however long. I haven't felt the wind in my hair or whatever.
Yeah, I'm a driver. It's what I do, yeah.
And this is the part in, I guess, the Triple H cinematic universe where we create sort of like a sliding doors type scenario where like one minor difference is what sets the two roads diverged in a wood or whatever.
There's a break in the timeline.
In Inside Out, he drives Michael Rappaport's car, but he allows Michael Rappaport to also get into the car with him. And they drive off into a fairly serious, like, action thriller, honestly, with heavy dramatic elements.
Yeah.
But in The Chaperone, he drives away without Kevin Corrigan, leaving him behind, and he drives into a wacky family comedy.
Sure.
So this is the moment where you want to know where it's all like two Triple
This is where the timeline splits.
Yes, two Triple H's in a wood, and the other one took the road less traveled by, and the other one left Kevin Corrigan at the jail cell.
Yeah. So if you're ever doing one of those like interactive Netflix series Bandersnatch stuff, this would be where the only decision happens.
No matter what road you take, though, you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah. So he drives to the house of his ex-wife. I'm going to assume completely unannounced.
Everything he does is completely unannounced. This is not a man with a plan.
Absolutely.
No, this is his first stop immediately after committing Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
He goes to his ex-wife's house to, I guess, semi-implicate her in a crime.
Yeah. She is not thrilled at all to see him.
No.
Yeah, she's moved on with her life. She said that she, in 7 years, she went to nursing school, and now she's a nurse.
This is the fantastic Annabeth Gish, by the way, of Mystic Pizza, and also the latter seasons of The X-Files, when they briefly replaced Mulder and Scully with Annabeth Gish and Robert Patrick.
Yeah.
And they were all like, everyone will like this, right? And then like 7 episodes later, it's all like, just kidding, Scully's back.
Yeah.
please keep watching. Yeah. But she's slumming it here. Again, Annabeth Gish is who you call when Parker Posey is working on the other movie. Yes.
And as they're hashing it out in the driveway, that's when his now teenage daughter approaches.
Sally,
which...
Because when you need a little girl in a movie, you call her Sally.
Have you ever met a Sally person?
I think
that's a made-up movie name.
I think they only exist in film and TV.
In cartoons and shit.
Yeah. I'm honestly trying to think if I've ever met a Sally in my life. I don't think so.
What is Sally even short for?
Salamander.
Gotcha. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
So Sally shows up, and she's played by one of the kids from Modern Family, right?
Yes, Ariel Winter, making her second appearance on this podcast, if you can fucking believe it.
What was her first one?
Because she was also the little girl in Dear Dracula.
Oh, right.
We're actually upping a couple of numbers on this episode. There's a couple of...
there's a big one.
There's a couple of old faces. You got so excited.
We'll
get to that.
We'll talk to him.
We're getting ahead of ourselves.
But she shows up into the driveway, and when she notices Triple H, just rarely says, "Are you who I think you are?" And when I heard that line, I was like, oh, damn, is this movie going to be really poignant and serious in times?
It's trying!
It's really trying.
Oh, boy, it wants to be.
And you know what? She's really trying in this, too.
Sure.
Of all the characters in this movie, I think she might be putting in the most work to carry this movie.
I'll say this: you always worry when you watch a movie like this, where like there's like a prominent kid character or whatever. Yeah, this performance isn't annoying.
No, not at all.
There's plenty of other kid characters that I wanted to drop kick through the fucking school bus window, but yeah, she's fine
compared to every other kid actor in this movie. Yeah, she's by far the best.
I mean, the character is very annoying because they give her the same dialogue to say over and over again. Like, her big problem is she doesn't want her dad to be there on the school field trip. So, like, there's like 5 scenes in a row where she's all like, "Dad, I don't want you to do my field trip," or whatever. But then eventually
and chewing him out for missing the last 7 years, getting into a life of crime, abandoning her. Like, there's some palpable rage in that. And I'm looking at this kid actor and I'm thinking, like, there's an intensity and a viciousness in her eyes that, like, Triple H has gone face to face with The Undertaker and he doesn't look this angry.
Yeah, but Triple H never spent 8 seasons with Ed O'Neill. So there you go. Yeah. I don't know if that's how many seasons Modern Family has.
I never watched it.
But yeah, so she's kind of like taken aback. And Triple H looks at his daughter that he hasn't seen since she was very young. And he says the line, "Oh, you take my breath away." And it's like, I get what he was going for.
Yeah.
Still objectively a very weird thing to say to a little girl.
But yeah.
Even if it is your daughter that you haven't seen in forever.
Yeah.
You could have given him any other line of dialogue to say. But she breaks into tears. She doesn't want anything to do with him. His wife doesn't want anything to do with him.
They both made that completely clear.
They've both moved on. And it's all like, okay, well, I suppose he's getting on with his life now. He's probably going to find some sort of employment.
Nope, trespasses onto the school, stalks his daughter. Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, the common theme that we're going to keep coming back to, and it's an annoying one, is that Triple H, as like the on paper charming, affable protagonist of like this light family comedy, commits so many crimes over the course of this movie.
Yep.
He puts so many people and children in danger, because of course children aren't people.
Yep. He fabricates his backstory and everything. Yeah. He poses as a Fed.
Yeah. He coerces a minor into committing more crimes. Yeah. And what's annoying about this movie is that it keeps making jokes about that.
Yeah.
Is that it's self-aware that everything he's doing is bad.
This tough guy knows best, better than all these like wimpy characters. Yeah.
The problem is it keeps drawing attention to the fact that everything he's doing is illegal and would get someone arrested.
Yeah.
And it's like it needed like a level of disassociation because there's no comedy in this. He's just willingly doing like bad illegal stuff.
Yeah.
And there's kind of no shock to it because the other thing is no one really reacts the way a normal person would. In the scenario. But yeah, he follows his daughter to school the next day.
Yeah. She tells him to take a hike. And then there's like a moment where he kind of takes a beat and just thinks to himself, and then it's broken up by the loudest firecracker sound I've ever heard. I mistook it for gunfire.
I'm a different man now. A better man.
Yeah, maybe you should try a fresh start in Alaska. And I'll do what I've always done. Pretend you don't exist.
And Triple H is
in your neighborhood?
But no, like in this like an active school shooter or something. And I was like, and his reaction to it too was like way more overblown than I was expecting.
It's a very different film that we're talking about here. Yeah.
But no, it's just a couple of kids tussling in the schoolyard, which he goes and breaks up
by assaulting the children. Let's be perfectly honest. This is a man, a recently released ex-con who probably hasn't even checked in with his social worker, bail bondsman, whatever you call them, or whatever.
I think they just let him out unsupervised.
He has no job. He has no car. He's living in what looks like a derelict building.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he pays rent or if he's literally just squatting. We never really get into it all that much. And yeah, like the day after he's released from prison, he trespasses onto a school because that's what that's called when you. I mean, I guess his daughter goes there, but whatever.
A man recently released from prison.
Yeah.
You know, you sure you don't want to have like restrictions on where he can go until he gets his shit together?
No restrictions whatsoever. No one watching him or anything like that. And he just walks to his school grounds and he just grabs 2 boys by the hair.
Yeah.
And it is treated with nothing but praise and admiration from the school faculty.
Yeah.
Two old favorites.
Oh,
here
absolutely.
On this show, we have the main teacher, the main administrator that we will spend the most amount of time with, Miss Miller, who was played by the great Yeardley Smith.
Yeah, Lisa Simpson herself.
And it's just. It will never not be weird seeing her in anything.
It's so...
Speaking with her normal speaking voice.
It is so off-putting that her natural speaking voice is the Lisa Simpson voice.
Yep.
Yeah. You
Basically,
can't
nothing
get
has
away.
changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And good for her for becoming a millionaire for doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So she
can considerably so. And, and she had the right call where it's all like, oh, like, what should this character sound like? Probably just like my regular speaking voice. Something that I bet the other actors in The Simpsons are wishing they had thought of at this point.
Especially Julie Kavner.
Especially poor Julie.
Christ.
It's easier watching Yeardley Smith in this movie than it was watching her in Back by Midnight, where she's playing this very sex-crazy, promiscuous type person.
Speaking in all this body, Rodney Dangerfield, Taylor...
With
jokes.
the voice of Lisa Simpson.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, thank you.
No. Though she's much better suited as like a faculty member of a school. Yeah, that's where Lisa Simpson belongs, at school.
But it's great to see her. It's Yeardley. And also, who the fuck is named Yeardley? Who's that name?
I don't know.
We've never met a Sally.
No, we never.
And I've never met a Yeardley.
Nope.
So there we go.
Mm-hmm.
And she's yerding it up. And then, okay.
Yeah, all right.
So,
yeah.
before I watched the movie, I got a text from you at work.
Yeah.
Where you said, like, oh, Kaz.
You will be blown away by who appears in this movie, making their third appearance on our podcast.
And I ran down the cast list like before, and I'm all like, I don't recognize any names here. I have no.
They're uncredited on IMDb.
Yeah, wild.
The end credits confirmed it, but I took one look at that guy, and I was like, oh, fuck!
It is, of course, the Grubbinator!
Gary Grubbs!
Gary Grubbs! Making his third appearance on this podcast. Previously seen on Python, playing an unlucky sheriff.
Yeah.
And then in A Sunday Horse, playing Linda Hamilton's husband.
Yeah. And, like, that's just the kind of roles that this guy gravitates towards, you know?
Yep.
I'll be a no-name sheriff in this giant monster movie, and I'll be, like the disappointed father in a sports drama or something like that. And in this one, I'm playing a principal or something. And these are the minor supporting
These
roles
are the Grubbs.
that you call Gary Grubbs for.
You need a principal to talk to Triple H on the phone and give out personal information. You fucking get Grubbs. Actually, no, that was Corrigan. But anyway, fucking call Grubbs.
That's right.
We're geeking out about him. No one else
No one
knows
gives a shit about
No
him.
one knows who this man is.
But we know.
But as he was making his way through the horde of children, I was all like, I know that man!
Yeah.
I know exactly who that is.
Yeah. So Yeardley Smith just she admires Triple H for his
She
way
loves
of
Triple H for throwing the children around
and
grabbing them by the hair.
Oh, you're Sally's father. Eh? Well, it just so happens that we're down a Chaperone for our big field trip to New Orleans.
This movie's wasting no time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's the chaperone within, 10 minutes of this movie's runtime.
Well, they make him an offer to do that, but Sally doesn't want it. She doesn't want her dad being around, so there's, a very tiny montage where he's, trying out for all these other jobs,
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
First, they absolutely savagely skewer the auto industry with their hybrid cars, man, and their smart cars.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this! You can't get an electric Hummer,
Yeah.
which I'm pretty sure is a porn move. And then he goes for a job interview at a health food restaurant,
vegan restaurant,
look
or
at all
something.
these hippies, man.
Yeah.
Why don't you eat a steak, Poindexter? It's like. He would have known what job he was applying for.
Yeah, and you know what, there's obviously other restaurants and mechanic shops you can apply for.
Exactly. Look and see if there are steakhouses hiring or whatever.
Also, if your expertise is being a driver, why not get a chauffeur's license or become a truck driver or a bus driver or something, right?
It's this very, very lazy montage where it's all he goes to the auto shop, he makes all these jokes, people are looking at him, he goes to the vegan restaurant, he makes all these cracks, people are laughing at him. The last one is just him in a tie in an office, and he's just sitting down, and the guy's all what were you doing for the last 7 years? He's all I was incarcerated, is that going to be a problem?
Yeah.
And then because I'm all that last one wasn't even funny.
That's not even a joke.
That's not even a joke.
Yeah,
That's
the realism of the scene.
Yeah, they couldn't even think of a third thing for him to do.
Yeah.
They couldn't even think of a third scenario to put him in. And Triple H loves things in threes.
as they found out. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that kind of just speaks to my overall problem with the movie. And there are many things wrong with this movie, but whenever it tries to do comedy, the tone clashes completely with
Which
like,
is
the
a
series.
problem, seen as that's the genre of movie that
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
ostensibly watching.
They're playing the father-daughter reuniting drama so sincerely, for all its, a hokey falsehood. They're trying their best to actually make that legit. And all the comedy just sticks out like a sore thumb, and it's so cliched and mishandled. Yeah, this movie has a terrible tone problem, I'd say.
Right.
Yeah, balancing the
So,
two.
yeah, so as he's trying to get his life together and get his kid back, Corrigan comes back and says, don't worry about stealing my car, everything's forgiven.
If you join me on this bank job.
One last heist, come on, we're gonna rob a bank, it's gonna be great. And Triple Eight punches a hole in the wall, and I gotta say, huge props to the set deck department, because this hand punch in the wall, that was a great little thing, because you can literally see like the outline of like all of his fingers and his knuckles in a super cartoony, deeply unrealistic way. But you know what, for this movie it actually kind of works.
It works, yeah.
And they actually should have like taken the tone. You're talking about like a tonal problem. They should have taken the tone off of the handprint in the wall and just made this a dumb comedy, like just make it a cartoon.
Sure.
Make it like Home Alone 5 or some shit.
Yeah, lean into one direction or the other. And this one we're saying, yeah, kids comedy, goofy kids comedy.
Like this movie feels like it wants to be like a goofy, like kids rule, big fat liar type of comedy like that. But then like when like the criminals get hit, they get hit by cars and like their heads start bleeding. And I'm all like, oh shit!
Some of them are
that guy actually got really hurt.
Some of them are concussed. Ariel Winters wells up some tears every once in a while when she's chewing out her dad. And it's like, which direction do they want to take this movie in?
Well, it's because it's like, this isn't like your daddy's family comedy, right? This is the WWE doing a family comedy. So kids are tougher than we give them credit for. They want to see blood. They want to see bullet wounds. They, they want Triple H as their leading man.
Kids love Triple H.
The children's favorite.
They were all about it in the Attitude
Triple
Era.
H.
Yeah. At one point, Triple H's entire apartment building burns down.
Which I was assuming at some point in time they would have revealed that was Corrigan.
Absolutely.
But we just have to assume.
It's just happenstance that it happens to burn down.
Yeah, because he and his apartment burns down. He loses absolutely everything that he owns.
What little he had,
and his daughter wants nothing to do with him, and he tries one more time to go and talk to his wife, and then he finds out that she is dating this big nerd, this lame doctor, played by the great Enrico Colantori, I believe is how you say that guy's name.
Guy from ER, right?
ER, and also hilarious in Galaxy Quest. Just great. Just a great comedic actor who is, who's playing the Baxter in this. He's playing like the new boyfriend who's a bit of a wimp.
The well-adjusted doctor type or what have you.
And like, I love Enrico Colantori. He's great, but like, my God, they're not giving him anything to work with here.
Well, like,
and he's really trying, but like, they're really not giving him anything to work with.
I kind of think they gave him too much. So like, in his opening scene, okay, it's this nerdy doctor type, well-adjusted, new fiance or what have you too.
Sees Triple H and is immediately emasculated.
A little nervous.
Kind of starts, pounding his chest a little bit.
And overly kissing his wife.
Overly kissing
his wife. And then I figure, okay, well, we kind of got that scene out of the way. All right. Every subsequent appearance of this guy, it's like a Three Stooges bit.
Yeah.
Like, this guy's supposed to be a doctor, and he can't handle a universal remote in his house.
He only has two other bits, so it's like we need some comic relief with this guy. This guy's like a comedian. He's on Just Shoot Me. Like, we'll find some stuff for him to do. Yeah, the second he's only in 3 scenes. There's the scene of the door. There's the scene where Ariel Winter calls her mom. And then she's like, can you turn on the fan? And it's like, how do remotes work?
I'm turning on the stereo.
I can't turn the TV on.
What's that, honey? And like the blinds are going up and down.
Hold on, I can't hear you. It's 1998 is when this bit is from. And then the last time we see him, he's getting ready for a romantic dinner where he is going to pop the question to Annabeth Kitchen. He's hired a violin player and he's put like rose petals everywhere. And
little overkill.
And when the scene started, I'm all like, wait, is that what we've been building to? We don't really know anything about this guy.
Other than he's a fucking klutz.
That hasn't been seeded at all. That's what... that's what his whole deal is, or whatever, because he's not allowed to be a character.
We don't see anything that might have endeared him to the wife character. We don't know why she liked this guy in the first place, other than he's different than Triple H.
I mean, she gets really defensive when Triple H is kind of like chortling at him or whatever. It's all, he's a good man, and Sally loves him, and it's all like, could we have seen a scene where they interacted? They don't have any scenes together, him and the daughter. So, like, how the hell are we supposed to know? But anyway, he's in the movie.
He's in the movie in 3 scenes.
So Triple H has no options left anymore.
He goes to Kevin Corrigan and says, all right, I'm in. They meet up with the other accomplices of this bank heist. Goldie, who nobody seems to like.
Well, but there's always the one guy.
There's always the one,
the loose cannon. Exactly, the guy that they shouldn't have hired. Yeah.
It is good to have you back, Ray Ray.
You know the one thing I really enjoyed about prison, Goldie?
What's that?
The absence of you.
Hey, if you keep tapping your hands like that, I'm gonna cut them off. I'm gonna cut off your hands. Why? What do you want?
Kevin Rankin is this actor who was on the last season of Breaking Bad. He was like one of the Nazis, he was one of Jesse Plemons' buddies or whatever. And then the other guy, Del, who's not really a character, but he's the third guy.
He's the third guy,
And and they go to the bank, and Triple H is the
wheelman. He's waiting.
Is the wheelman.
They all put on their George W. Bush administration masks.
Yep,
when they
it's the classic Point Break reference here, where they're all wearing presidential themed masks here.
Yeah, one of them happens to be Condoleezza Rice, which you wouldn't think would be a huge fucking deal, but then when they're actually in the bank, one of the tellers starts, she has like a bit of a chortle at it. And that really pisses off Goldie.
It's kind of one of the only things that made me laugh in this movie. It's just this woman's reaction where he like starts going to like, well, what's the big deal? Why I can't wear it? I wear like a Condoleezza Rice mask. That's supposed to be funny. I'm robbing you, lady. And he's like, wait, so it wasn't supposed to be funny? And that line kind of made me laugh. But then of course they ruin it later. Yeah, they include another scene where she's talking to the cops, and they just bury the poor joke. They bury the poor joke alive.
It
doesn't work.
She like just recaps the entire scene and gives her entire internal monologue on that.
I couldn't keep my eyes off of Condoleezza Rice. It made no sense to me. A man chooses a Condoleezza Rice mask to rob a bank, then gets totally offended when somebody has a perfectly normal reaction to it. At first I thought, hey, I almost don't mind being robbed by a guy in a Condoleezza Rice mask because it shows he has a sense of humor. I like a guy with a sense of humor.
I mean, again, it could have been a funny joke if it was just like Bush, Cheney, Condi, and then one of them says, they were out of Rumsfeld. That's, you know what? That's your joke. That's all you need to do.
Hell, they even did the obvious one where the police are asking her, okay, so Bush or Cheney, which one was in charge? And like, topical for 2011. So the
three of them go into the bank, and
which is conveniently located across the street from the school where the kids are filing into the tour bus.
The school field trip is loaded onto the bus directly in front of Triple H. As he's sitting at the bank.
So he's like, screw this, I'm gonna spend time with my kid. So he tosses the keys, he leaves his...
Well, he needs a flashback to remind him that he loves his kid.
That's right. So we can set up the fact that she knows how to drive, because she took little driving lessons when she sat on his lap as a fucking 7-year-old.
And surely that won't come back later. You better fucking believe it does.
So we meet a bunch of other kids who
all have names, but I'm not going to refer to them as their name. I'm just going to refer to them as their main characteristic. We've already met Fireworks Boy.
This redheaded troublemaker who, weirdly enough, is like a student of Sun Tzu's The Art of War. He quotes it a lot, and he quotes it with Triple H.
And that's how he connects to Triple H. And that's how he knows Triple H is a cool dude, because he's read Sun Tzu.
All right, which one of you is blowing up the fireworks?
He snuck up behind me. He almost busted my eardrums.
All warfare is based on deception, butt wipe.
Yeah, and he will win who knows when to fight and when not to.
You read The Art of War by Sun Tzu?
Yeah, who hasn't?
There's the mean girl.
There's the mean girl who sets up that she is going to get lip fillers while she's in New Orleans.
She's sneaking away from the field trip when she's in New Orleans because she's going to get lip fillers so she looks like Angelina.
And that's kind of all we need to know.
And that's all we need to know about that character.
There's essentially a kid who's Niles from Frasier. He's just like this well-dressed, high-strung guy.
Or young Sheldon.
Okay,
is basically like the thing. But yeah, he's the Poindexter.
Yeah, he's a hypochondriac. He's got a lot of baggage with him when he travels, yeah.
Yeah, and he brought multiple suitcases as well. And then there's like the cool boy that Sally likes.
Yeah, yeah.
And his job is to be cool and nice.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's like way too perfect. But also has like no discernible characteristics other than that.
No, but that is Triple H's in with his daughter now because her crush likes Triple H. He thinks he's cool. And so,
if boy I like dad, then like dad like boy.
Well put, Cass.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Triple H uses that to his advantage all the time. Like, he always drops, like, some cool knowledge when that kid's around, so he could be like, oh, that's pretty awesome, Mr. Bradstone.
I lost the number of times Ariel Winter was chewing out Triple H, and then, like, that kid walks by, and he's just all like, your dad's pretty cool, you know?
Yeah.
You're cool, too.
Yeah, I guess.
I guess, whatever.
If I hang around you, can I get to know your dad
I just can't stop thinking about your dad. So yeah, Triple H shows up for this overnight cross-country field trip with no suitcase, looking like he literally walked off of a bank robbery. And Yeardley Smith sees him and says, I have no follow-up questions.
Yeah.
Get on this bus!
Yeah.
There's a bus driver who, talking of The Simpsons, is basically just Otto.
Pretty much, without overtly being a stoner, but this guy's meant to be a stoner. But WWE probably said, like, no references to drugs, so he's just a spacey kind of guy.
As we all know, if we live through the 80s, winners don't use drugs.
Indeed.
Triple H must be a winner.
Just as they're about to escape, the criminals come out of the bank, see that Triple H isn't there. Cops are hot on the trail, so they all bolt in separate directions.
Yes. Triple H has thrown the keys away, so they have no getaway car anymore. As one last final fuck you.
Yeah, and
his old criminal lifestyle.
And Dell runs towards the bus, trips over a lot of the bags that are still being loaded, and then the duffel bag full of the cash goes into the shuttle bus. And they're on their way to the field trip. And
the other two criminals notice that Dell has the bag at one point, and then when he crosses around the other side of the bus, he doesn't have the bag, and then he gets creamed by a police car, and as I mentioned before, gets several nasty head wounds.
Oh yeah. Oh, later when
the blood all over the street. It's very alarming.
Yeah. Later when the two detectives are questioning him in the hospital, like, that man is clearly concussed.
Yes.
Yeah.
The two detectives, Hat Detective and Regular Detective.
Yeah. Hatless and the one wearing the wicker fedora.
And then like shortly after Corrigan and Goldie get away, they steal a woman's car, which is pretty badass. It's like a thing from Grand Theft Auto where they're just like, this lady's just living her life, and then all of a sudden they got a gun in her face. They see the school bus go by, and they notice that Triple H is on the bus because Triple H is the least inconspicuous person in the world. He's a giant man, so he really should have maybe like hidden in the back of the bus, maybe like a little bit more, but he didn't think that through. So they put two and two together, and they're all like, the money's on the bus with Triple H, and him and Dell. They must have known something.
They double-crossed us.
Exactly. So now they're following the bus to New Orleans. We're all on our way to New Orleans, and aren't we going to have a great time?
Yeah. So they stop off at the museum.
Well, not fucking soon enough.
Yeah.
Because first there's a whole bunch of bus antics.
At the chase scene? Yeah.
And like at a certain point, I just wrote down, it's all like, is this scene ever going to fucking end? Because this is the moment where he keeps like standing up and walking over to Ariel Winter and talking to her a little bit, and then stepping up.
She's like, "Go away, Dad! I don't want you in my life."
And this is the first moment where he assumes the role of the chaperone. It's chaperoning time, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And because the kids are, they're being little brats on a bus, and obviously, and Yeardley Smith can't calm them down or whatever.
So he cuts a promo. He just browbeats the one redhead kid,
and he starts yelling at all these. Well, yeah, because he gets hit in the face with a spitball.
Yeah,
and that's what starts it up. But yes, yeah, and then eventually we get off this fucking bus,
Yeah.
and we get to the science museum.
Yeah, Natural History Museum. They're looking at some dinosaur bones. They were told that the regular tour guide, I don't know, called in sick or whatever. So I suppose there's no one else working at the museum that can show him a fucking dinosaur skeleton. But thank God Triple H is there. He tells because we set up in the beginning with his
that
book
he read one book on dinosaurs, so clearly he can lead a tour. And Yeardley Smith has no follow-up questions with us. Again, so here's the other annoying thing about this movie is the main joke we should be making about Yeardley Smith's character is that she's a terrible teacher and she should be fired. But again, the movie makes that joke for us. They literally say in the movie, I'm going to get fired, aren't I? And it's just, you're robbing the movie of any comedy that could come from this.
Weirdly, they dropped that, I want to say, like an hour into the movie, like just around there's like a 20-minute, left of the movie. And she says, like, am I going to get fired for this? And it seems to me like maybe the screenwriters thought of that at that exact moment, and they didn't go back and pepper some of that. And
again, because there's it's too broad a stretch of a character. We don't know anything personal about Yeardley Smith's teacher. We don't know why she would be so trusting of a large man who just like walked off of the street.
Yeah.
We don't know. We don't know anything about her, like her backstory. We don't know if she's like nervous around children. Like she seems like a bit of a pushover.
Or maybe she has like an infatuated crush on Triple H because he's a big muscly guy.
Yeah, I mean the only sort of character buildup we get is there's the other parent, there's the other chaperone on the trip who's kind of like this schlubby divorcee who also showed up in the other Triple H movie that I watched. So that actor,
probably buddies.
That actor carried over. But and he has a crush on Yeardley Smith, and his thing is all like, you seem like a cool guy, Triple H. You can tell me how I can talk to women, even though I am
also divorced.
And yes, I should know how to talk to my kid. Does he have a kid?
We don't see it.
If he has if one of these kids is specifically his kid,
we don't know.
It is not identified as his kid, but he's the other chaperone. Yeah. And then before they get into the museum, Triple H has another scene where he starts browbeating all of the kids in front of the thing. He starts yelling at them. And it's around this time that I had the realization there is nothing funny about Triple H yelling at kids.
No.
And I don't mean that in like a pearl clutching sort of way, like, oh my God, I can't believe he's yelling at the children or whatever. Yelling at children is inherently hilarious in a movie. There's nothing funny about him yelling at kids.
Now, why do you think that is? Is because he's a little too scary looking? Like he's not a good enough actor?
That one.
Okay.
Because
John Cena can do it.
John Cena can do it because there's sort of like an inherent Arrested Development with John Cena. He's a bit of a child at heart himself. So if John Cena was arguing with a kid, you can tell that he's taking it really personally, and that's where the comedy is. Arnold yelling at kids is really funny because he gets really flustered and he loses his patience, and he loses the cool guy Terminator demeanor or whatever. Triple H is exactly the same as he was before he yelled at the kids as he is after, and there's just nothing. It's like what we said in the intro. There's kind of nothing special about Triple H.
Nope.
He's just a big guy.
Yep.
And there's no humor that comes from him screaming at these kids, and it's all like,
isn't it funny seeing Triple H losing his cool in front of kids? Not.
You would think that is the main thing we're selling this movie on, and you might almost think that an earlier version of this movie, an earlier version of the script, might have given him more stuff to do with the kids, because he really doesn't have that much to do with the kids. Well, and at a certain point, they just said, none of this is working. Let's just write in more criminal stuff.
Well, the problem also is that Triple H has never been kid appropriate. The Generation X was celebrating the fact that we are like a more mature, ruder, aggressive wrestling faction. There's nothing kid friendly about Triple H. Like, say what you fucking will about Hulk Hogan. You could see him just hamming it up in a kids movie.
Well, he has. He made multiple hamming it up with kids movies.
Because kids fucking loved Hulk Hogan. I don't think...
Yeah, because Hulk Hogan was a cartoon character.
Yeah. Triple H, he was an exaggerated, aggressive character. Like, his catchphrase was "suck it." It was for teenagers, right? That's
not necessarily kid friendly. Like, you don't want your kids going around telling people to suck it. I mean, I do, because that would be hilarious.
Yeah, and I certainly did back when I was in high school, but yeah.
I lost my train of thought.
Well, one thing I wanted to bring up about Triple H telling the kids about the dinosaur, where, he does know his stuff. All these kids are fucking stupid, though.
Does anybody know what modern animal is a direct descendant of the Oviraptor?
Lizards?
That's a really good guess.
Dogs? What about cats?
Way off.
Alligators. Snakes.
Yeah.
Bears.
9.
Elephants.
Incorrecto.
Any kid this age would already know so much to know about dinosaurs. Granted, probably not all of them. Not all kids are interested in dinosaurs, but like the majority of them, at the very least at this point in time, know that dinosaurs are descended from birds.
Yeah, that's birds are descended from dinosaurs.
Yes, thank you. That's something you learn when you're like 6.
Yeah.
These days, that's something that I learned when I watched Jurassic Park for the first time. That's something that they were saying back in 1993. So it's that is just like pop culture zeitgeist kind of shit, right? It's whoever the screenwriters were is all like, Triple H needs to know a fact about dinosaurs. They Googled dinosaur facts. That's literally the first one that comes up. It's all like, and done for the day.
Right.
Yes.
All right, so Kevin Corrigan and Goldie show up at the...
I love how we're doing one actor name and one character name.
Well, I don't remember the name of the other guy.
I know, I like it. Kevin Corrigan and Gory.
There you go. They show up at the museum. Triple H notices that, so he tells the kids to get out of the museum. He pulls the fire alarm so everyone gets out. And then he beats him up in the men's washroom while a kid is pooping while singing My Clementine.
and like the dad of the kid is like waiting outside of the stall, and Triple H is just all like, he's got to hurry up, and the dad's all like, well, he's got to take your time, and Triple H is all like, all right, I'm just going to again essentially assault you, random guy, and just like shove you into like the stall with your kid. And this entire assault that he has of the 2 criminals in there, the dad is just in the stall with his kid,
hearing a fight going on
presumably
outside.
Like shielding him and being like, oh my god, we're going to die, we are about to die, is what was going to happen, Timmy, because you couldn't poop faster. We're gonna die now.
Move over, kid. I gotta shit my pants too.
Well, too late. Yeah, and Triple H just loads everyone onto the bus. Yeardley Smith's like, we still have like an hour and a half here, and he's all like, oh, we gotta go. And he offers her no explanation as to why they have to go.
And just peels the bus over like a traffic island and jets off onto the freeway.
Leaving not Otto behind.
Yeah, leaving the bus driver behind, who somehow catches up with them when they get to New Orleans in a scene that they didn't film.
I guess at some point it does make sense. I guess like he might have had like the address of the hotel. So he's all like, well, they took my bus. I guess I'll just go meet them at the place that I know they're going to eventually. He's making a lot of assumptions, but they don't film that scene. But it's like, one of our chaperones wants to leave an hour and a half early and is not giving me any sort of discernible reason as to why we're doing that. Sounds good to me. I'm Yeardley Smith, and we get on the bus and we just go.
I'm just following your lead, Triple H.
And so like, you're the main administrator here.
You just met this guy.
You are the guardian of all of these children.
A previously unseen parent character that his kid seems to be a little wary of, but I guess father knows best here.
Here's the thing, Miss Smith. Miss Simpson, is after you meet this man who identifies himself as one of your students' father, when you go into the main office, you look up the file for that student, and you look for this man's name.
Yeah.
And if his name isn't there, then you have to have some follow-up questions.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens because children have files. Anyway, so the next stop on their trip, I guess, is like a walking tour through like the French Quarter.
Yeah.
And Triple H knows that the criminals are on his trail, and at this point in time, he's pieced it together that the money is on the bus. So he hangs back. I found this was really funny because there's the lady leading like the guided tour, and there's like 30 of these fucking kids. There's so many kids, and it's like we see Yearly Smith's at the front, and all of the kids are walking around this corner, and as, like, the line is thinning out and we're getting to Triple H at the end of the line, the tour guide's voice is getting softer and softer. So these kids at the back of the tour,
They're not getting...
they're not hearing any of this shit. You are not educating at all, lady. Which is probably what these kids want. The kids in the back know what's up. They know.
Well, they want to hang out with Triple H.
Exactly.
So far, he's a
that's
badass.
That's what I would do. Yeah, exactly. He stole the bus. We all saw him do it.
So, he has the duffel bag of money. He calls up Kevin Corrigan and says, all right, just to get you off my back, I'll hand over the money to you.
He doesn't even need to call them because they're, like, right there.
Yeah.
They're just like, it's all like, hey, where are you? Like, look to your left. In a very awkwardly staged scene.
Yeah.
And it's just like Adam West with a bomb. Sometimes you just can't get rid of a bag of money because he's about to hand over the money and I
conflict
guess,
resolved.
I guess the movie ends. But Hat Cop and regular cop show up.
They show up and they give chase, and Corrigan's like, you screwed me again, Triple H. And the cops go chasing after those two who disguise themselves in Mardi Gras gear. They
because
made the cops
it's New Orleans.
Because it's New Orleans, even though it's not Mardi Gras, but they just have the stuff all ready to go.
I'm pretty sure it's Mardi Gras every day in New Orleans. Just like if you go to Mexico, it's always Day of the Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Kevin Corrigan and Goldie realize they need some backup, so he calls
some dudes.
Just some random dudes, and then they go to hang out in the Joker's hideout?
Yeah.
Like, it was very...
Speaking of Adam West Batman, that is very supervillain.
What they're trying to do
it's like a warehouse for all the Mardi Gras folks. Yeah.
What it's trying to do is it's trying to allude to the fan-fucking-tastic final scene of Hard Target with Jean-Claude Van Damme, where he also fights in a warehouse with a bunch of, like, Mardi Gras equipment. But this is like... this is like the straight-to-DVD version of that.
Yeah.
So, it's giving a lot more Batman the Animated Series than it is John Woo, unfortunately.
Yeah. So back at the hotel, Triple H goes to Yearly Smith
This
and says...
should have been John Cena. He would have
made it work.
This would have worked. It would have been a good movie, but it would have worked better if it was John Cena.
He would have had a better performance in front of the kids. Yeah, absolutely. But he was too busy being in the fucking Marine, which... probably Triple H would have been better at.
Yep.
Yeah.
Another sliding door scenario.
Yeah,
what if?
This is why he decided, I got to take the reins on creative control of this company. So he says to Yearly Smith, is it okay if I just take my daughter out for lunch so we can catch up or what have you?
And she says, yes, and I just want to thank you. And leaving the museum an hour and a half early
turned out for the best.
It gave us so much time to wander around the French Quarter. Oh, how insightful you must be. Just do whatever you want.
Do whatever you want.
Do whatever you want. You truly are a god.
Yeah. He goes up to the cute boy and he says, like, hey, what are some things that you kids are into?
What are the youth into?
What are they into? Yeah.
Who's this Chaperone I keep hearing about?
So he gets...
And the kid says, no, it's the Chaperone.
The Chaperone, right. Yeah.
That's where the joke should have been.
Well,
God damn it.
We got there eventually.
All right.
Triple H is finally bonding with his daughter. They hash out the sorrow that they had in like a scene that I was a little surprised by. I was surprised at how...
I was surprised at how terrible Triple H was in this scene. He's not a good... No, literally the worst line of dialogue that Triple H has, the worst delivered line of dialogue in this entire movie is in this scene where Ariel Winter is all like, oh, you broke Mom's heart. She cried for months and months. And then he says, for months? Your mom cried for months and months? And I'm just all like, okay, number one, no, even Cena couldn't have made that line work. But like... Just an absolutely horrible delivery. Triple H is just not suited for this movie.
No, and he's not
at all.
He's not measuring up well to Ariel Winters, who's trying her damnedest to make this scene work.
And like, there's like a scene where they're like bonding over music. He takes her to like a music store in New Orleans, which like I guess is cool, but it's like you can go to a music store anywhere probably. Yeah. And we find out that of course Triple H, he loves Sinatra.
Yeah.
And it's like,
because Sinatra like turned his life around and which he found very inspirational.
Now there's an earlier scene between Sally and the cute boy where she's singing something and then he comes over and goes like, oh hey, this person.
This like commercial pop garbage.
And I wrote it down. They say it's Kellen Smith. And then later on in
is that a real artist?
The music store. Triple H, lists like all of the old favorites like Sinatra and Zeppelin, whatever, and then he says Kellen Smith, and it's like, oh, clearly Cute Boy told
fed him some
her
information.
dad off.
Like I said, he's using her attraction to him to his advantage.
So there is a Kellen Smith active on Spotify currently right now, but his debut album came out in like 2019.
Oh.
So the Kellen Smith I think they're talking about in this movie is a fake person.
Oh, interesting.
I think they just like didn't want to like, or they couldn't think of like a relevant star of the era, or they couldn't like license. It's not like we hear a Kellen Smith song.
You know what? That's probably like an in-joke or like an in-house music talent that WWE has. And they're just like, oh, this guy's planning on being a big deal in a couple of years. But right now, he's a part of our stable of music talents.
I mean, if there's like one thing that I know about Triple H is that he loves Motorhead.
Yeah.
So this should have been the moment for them to bring this in. And this is what they could bond over.
Yeah.
Is that she's a big Lemmy
Here,
head.
this is Ace of Spades. I wanted to bring this up later, but one thing that the Cute Boy does in that scene while he's chatting up Ariel Winters, the spoiled girl goes up to him to lure him away, and she's like, do you want to get something to eat? He says no, and then he just hands her his empty cup. Like, so dismissively, and I was like, that's pretty fucking ruthless and badass.
That's a good move.
Yeah.
This pro girl can't
hilarious.
take a hit.
Yep.
Yeah, so Triple H is trying to get along with his daughter. She's all like, what did mom ever see in you? And he says, oh, I made her laugh. And I'm all like, yes, because you're known for your sparkling wit. Triple H, he's so funny, Triple H. Clearly.
Naturally charismatic.
Who wouldn't fall in love with him? But they kind of come to common ground. They kind of like see each other on their own terms or whatever.
But as luck would have it, there's an APB out, and now there's like news bulletins of Triple H, ex-con, has run off with some money, and he's hiding out with some kids in New Orleans.
It's in this news report that we are dealt the bombshell reveal that LaRue's name is the Cat.
The Cat!
Which is...
I did not catch that at all.
Which is never referenced ever again outside of this. It's like Philip the Cat LaRue.
Yeah. Ray and the Cat.
Ray and the Cat.
Are on the loose.
Exactly. Ray, Goldie and the Cat. They're on the loose. Give me a prequel.
I want to see the other story of what landed Triple H in jail.
Yeah. Ariel Winter is now mad at Triple H again, but he's able to...
Explain the situation.
Explain it away immediately, so it's almost like this scene was pointless. But now she is aware of the fact she's able to sneak into the hotel and get the money back for him, which again is coercing a minor, so that's a pretty big offense on top of all the other crimes that you've broken right now.
Yeah, like the cops have the place surrounded, so like they're looking for Triple H. He sends her up there to get the bag and, come back downstairs, where he will, negotiate whatever kind of deal with Kevin Corrigan, who's also at the hotel. Yeah. And when Triple H isn't looking, he kidnaps his daughter.
Like, she literally hands him over the bag. He says, I'm sorry, honey, this was my fault. He takes full responsibility for his actions. He says, the last thing I ever wanted was to put you in harm's way. They say goodbye. She turns around, and she's immediately in harm's way. Like, it doesn't even take 2 seconds. Yeah. But it's the type of, like, kid movie kidnapping where it's like, here are two like actual bad men who've like killed people before and stuff like that, and they have like this young girl with them, like this underage girl with them, and it's like she's never really in any sort of danger.
No, never really bought it.
It's like Joey Pants and Baby's Day Out. It's all like this guy's not really gonna harm you or anything.
Yeah, with a gun to her head, she immediately contradicts them on their threats, where they're like, "Oh, if you don't play along, we're going to shoot your dad, and then we're going to shoot you in front of him." And she's like, well, that won't make sense. And then we have like a minute-long breakdown of that.
Boy, don't you love it when they explain the joke? When they explain why it doesn't make sense. It's funny because they're bad, dumb criminals.
Yep. So yeah, Triple H goes to the Joker's hideout where he fights Kevin Corrigan's henchman.
I love this moment where he comes in where like the main guy is all like, "Yeah, we heard you were coming. I brought my friends with them," and like the two guys from the previous scene are there, and I expected like 10 other guys to show up.
Just 3 dudes.
It's just like, I brought my friends with me. 2 other guys. And it's like, It's Triple H.
Yeah,
and you needed to call maybe like a few more.
Yeah,
people.
like him alone probably outweighs all three of these guys put together.
And they do a really lame subversion of what I like to call like the Raiders of the Lost Ark bit, where one of the guys is like a stick guy.
Oh, he's got the bow staff.
He's got a bow staff, and he does like the cool thing with the bow staff, and he does that for like 5 seconds or whatever, and then
Triple H picks up like a steel pipe.
all he does is pick up a steel pipe, and Stickman's all like, "Never mind, I gotta go."
Yeah.
And then they do it again later. There's like another version of that.
It's the kid version of that one.
Oh yeah, right. It's like the dumb fireworks kid where he's all like, "Wow!"
Yeah.
And then one of the criminals picks up a gun, and he's all like, "Bye-bye!" And it's all like, "We fucking get it.
Yeah.
You've watched Indiana Jones."
So there's not a whole lot of action in this movie. This is like, I want to say the second of 2 fight scenes, of fist fight scenes in this movie. They do really lame slow-mo whenever they want to do the impact of the fights. And I'm just like,
it's for kids. You don't want to, I mean, you know, like people get like bloody head wounds or whatever, but you don't want to make it too violent.
you don't want to make it too violent, but if you make it really quick cut, then you won't even actually see the violence. By slowing it down, you see the impact of the fist colliding with a head.
Huh. I
Yeah.
must have missed that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, it's super lame and unmemorable.
Yep.
And Kevin Corrigan has Triple H's daughter, and they're like, "Give us the money and we'll give you the daughter back." And this is the plot of the movie now.
Yep. They
Hat Cop and regular cop show up at the hotel, and now Yeardley Smith is aware of the fact that Triple H is not who he says he is.
Yeah.
Well, he is who he says he is, but she didn't tell him the full details or whatever. So now the truth is out. And it was at this point I hit pause on the movie, and I noticed there was 33 minutes of the movie left, and he's arguably no longer the chaperone.
Nope.
I guess he's chaperoning his daughter, but even then he's not chaperoning his daughter.
He was a chaperone.
He was a chaperone for like a couple of minutes, and then she got kidnapped. Now he's not chaperoning shit.
Yep. And so the kids kind of put 2 and 2 together, say that, it sounds like Triple H is in trouble. And it becomes the part of the kids' movie where the children that we all got to know,
it's the kids' rule.
Yeah.
It's the kids' rule, adults' rule portion of the movie.
So the kids that had screen time, they all kind of band together and they figure out.
First we get Ariel Winter back.
Yes.
So we do have the trade-off.
Right. They have the meet up in the graveyard, and Triple H takes a cab there. He pays the cabbie to escort Ariel Winter back to the hotel safely.
I was really hoping, because he has like this moment where he's like talking to like this cab driver, and he's all like, "This is all the money I have in the world. My life is in your hands. My daughter's life is in your hands. I'm really counting on you, man." And he closes the door, and it's all like, "I really wanted this cabbie to just drive away."
Thank you, sir.
Again, that would have been a joke, though.
Yeah.
That would have been like a funny moment, and we're not having any of those here.
Yeah, if he just says like, "Thank you, sir. Have a nice day," like in broken English or whatever.
But we do make the trade-off. Ariel Winter gets into the cab. She drives away with the cab driver, so she's safe. But Triple H grabbed the wrong bag, and it's full of fuzzy pink pillows, random.
Technically, Ariel Winters grabbed the wrong bag because she went up to his hotel room
That's
to get
right.
it.
This was something that was seeded earlier, that like someone's bag on the bus is the exact type of duffel bag that's in like the money.
But Triple H took that duffel bag to his hotel room.
I know.
She knows that when did the switch happen?
I wrote down the same thing too. Doesn't she talk to the bus driver? And the bus driver tries to put it on the bus.
Yeah,
I don't know when the
doesn't-
switch would have happened. I don't know.
It doesn't drop, and they don't mistake the 2 bags.
It doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
They actually don't specify when the swap
You
happened.
can drive that bus through this plot hole.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like when Ariel Winters is driving away and she's like, "Stop, my dad's in danger." And she tries to strangle the cab driver to pull over. "I made a solemn vow to your awesome dad."
Yes, I'm sorry, kid. Your dad's just too cool.
But she's trying to strangle a cab driver to get him to stop.
She has tiny little hands,
Yeah,
though,
yeah.
so it's fine. So they pull guns on Triple H, and Triple H lets himself get handcuffed or whatever. And then, and then for like 10 minutes of this movie, it's the kids have to save Triple H now, and who could have seen that coming? Oh boy, and all of your favorites are here.
Yep. There's the redheaded kid who knows all about war because he's read The Art of War.
Young Sheldon.
Young Sheldon there, he triangulates his location through like
That's
the
right.
GPS
He does machines.
He does.
He gets the iPad, and he's able to figure out exactly what abandoned warehouse Triple H is in.
The spoiled girl got her lip filler and it's been botched, but she tags along all the same for reasons.
The only reason she tags along is because like the cool kid is going, and she has fear of missing out or whatever.
Sure.
There's absolutely no reason for this character to be along for the ride, because truly all she does is complain the entire time.
Yeah, I mean, when the kids finally do get up to that warehouse and they're storming it, they're going to rescue.
Yeah.
They're going to rescue Triple H. She stays on the bus and I guess calls the cops.
She calls the cops. It leads to the only other delivery that got a laugh out of me, is because the whole joke here is that no one can understand her on the 911 call because her lips are all puffy and everything.
Yeah.
And there's one just like static reaction shot that very clearly is the take. Like the director told like this young actress, just do this one for fun. This one isn't serious. This one isn't going in the movie. Just do this one for fun. And it is like the most like ridiculous line delivery of like, oh no, I make a terrible looking corpse. Somebody please save me. And it's like the camera cuts right before she's about to start giggling. Like the character is not invested in what's going on
It's
at
not,
all.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The delivery is funny. It looks like she's having fun with it. And also, her voice with the puffy lips made me think of Cher.
Yeah.
So she's kind of going, oh, wow, I can't go. So it's like, all right, this is like the one other kind of funny thing that happens in this movie, and then it's over.
Oh, well, I didn't find it funny.
Well,
but,
there you go.
we got different tastes of opinion here.
Oh my god, I'm going to make a hideous dead person. Please help me.
Did we mention that Ariel Winters drives the bus because we established that Triple H taught her how to drive?
Yep.
Okay.
We did.
All right.
We covered everything.
Cool. Yeah, so the kids beat up Kevin Corrigan.
Well, they like show up and they immediatty all have Bluetooth headsets.
Yeah, where'd they come from?
Where the fuck did they come from? And they're like, yeah, and like Art of Sun Tzu Kid is he was Fireworks Kid, now he's Art of Sun Tzu Kid.
Yeah, he's the one that does the fake Indiana Jones sword thing. He's got like a plastic sword. He brings a sword to a gunfight.
And he's like sneaking through the compound, the Joker's lair or whatever, and he's like going to the blue. He's going like, the eagle is loud, and it's all like they're right fucking there, dude.
Yeah.
But no, apparently
Also,
this.
The only reason that they would use code words like that is if they were worried about like people patching through to the comms.
You never know.
There are no criminals on comms.
This could go all the way to the top.
That's right.
But no, this ragtag bunch of ragamuffins is able to get one over, and they're able to release Triple H from his bondage.
But not before he, drops his phone and I guess had Dr. Marjorie on speed dial.
That's right. I forgot about this stupid fucking thing. Yes, he butt dials Dr. Marjorie, who then broadcasts the end of this movie live on her.
Yeah.
She's all like,
we got a breaking news story
this
here.
This has never happened on radio before. We have like an actual criminal thing going on here. I don't know.
And it was at this point where I clued in that like, oh my god, her show is still on. This is like 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night.
But it's the 11 o'clock Dr. Marjorie.
And they absolutely take his call because he's a regular call-in guest, and I guess that audio came crystal clear from, like a yard or two away.
Oh, he gets incredible reception on his cell phone. Yeah, that's just like lying on the floor of this building. No, she can hear everything that's going on.
And of course, they capture Kevin Corrigan confessing that, yes, you were innocent to that initial crime. And
even though he's not. Here's the thing, is every time he tries to explain himself to the cops, to Yeardley Smith, to his daughter, he's all like, I had nothing to do with that robbery. And I'm just like, but you did.
Yeah.
You still drove them there. Mm-hmm. The fact that you left doesn't belabor the fact that
you are an accomplice in this.
At a section of the robbery, you were involved.
Yeah. You would get a reduced sentence if you actually spilled the beans on this sort of thing.
Again, it's another joke that someone in the movie can make, but the movie makes it itself. His fingerprints are all over the car. So, yeah. But yeah, it doesn't matter because yes, Dr. Marjorie has aired Kevin Corrigan's confession. Yeah. So when the cops show up, they only arrest very quickly.
Yeah, that was some good response times from the Narlands PD.
Yeah, the Narlands PD who are called by Dr. Marjorie, right? Yeah, they're the one. Or no, it's Mean Girl. Well, I don't know. Someone calls the cops.
Two people call the cops.
Right. That's why so many of them show up. And there's no other crime happening in New Orleans that evening. This is the one
with a criminal on the run.
This is the one crime. And they only arrest the two criminals. And Triple H is allowed to walk out until Hat Cop shows up. He's all like, "You're not getting away, Hat Cop." Because another thing we seen it earlier is when Triple H.
It was the same cop that put him away. 7 years ago.
And when Triple H went into jail, he turned to Hat Cop and he said, "I'm going to turn my life around." And then as Hat Cop is investigating, he's all like, I guess he didn't turn his life around. And then regular cop is like, no, wait, they just aired the
confession.
The famous Dr. Marjorie show, who's like Joe Rogan in this universe, and everyone hears it or whatever. And it's all like, I guess he did turn his life around.
Yeah.
And then he looks at Triple H, he's all like, I guess you did.
I guess you did, old friend.
I guess I'm out of here. I'm hat cop.
He tips his fedora, says "Milady," and leaves. Speaking of Milady, the wife shows up to slap.
Because she was watching the news, because everyone's watching the news.
Yep. Yeah, she slaps Triple H in the face, but Ariel Winters goes to his defense, and I guess all is forgiven.
It's like that. It's not literally this, but it's almost that classic thing of like she slaps Triple H and she's all like, "This is for putting my daughter in danger," and then she kisses him. Is all like, and that's for bringing him home.
Yeah,
and it's all like it's not that, but it's like it basically could have been that. And then we jump ahead
To several months later, where
where he's getting ready for a date, and
I was thinking to myself, who have we met that will be a love interest?
Yes.
Well, we haven't. The
what
only women.
female characters are in this movie?
Yeah, the only 3 adult women are Dr. Marjorie, Yeardley Smith, and the wife.
It should have been Dr. Marjorie.
It
They found love behind bars, James. That's why she always took his call.
Anyways,
Because she wanted that.
yeah. Anyways, it's the wife. I guess things are over with her and the clumsy doctor.
Yep. Enrico Colatoni just got completely cucked.
Yep.
Like he knew what happened. He saw Triple H and he accurately said, "That's it. That's the end of my relationship is in danger."
And he's out of the movie. He just unceremoniously left out of the movie.
We never know whether or not he was actually a good guy or not.
Yep.
Never mind. Triple H is here, so he's dump city population him.
Yeah, everything's all right in the world.
We find out as Ariel Winters helping him get ready for the date with his ex-wife that he still does not have a job.
Yeah, several months later.
What has he been doing this entire time?
I'm probably prepping the final destination of this. He has like a radio job now. He's like another call-in radio self-help person. And one of his callers we get is Kevin Corrigan from prison. And I thought to myself, oh, well, this might be a nice way to end the movie, where he finally comes to realize that, like, oh, maybe I should take a page from the Triple H book.
I think that's what they're going for.
Yeah. He's like, well, you were always spouting off this self-help stuff. You got any advice for me, Triple H? And he says, well, all I can tell you is don't drop the soap. And I'm like, you're gonna end this fucking poignant thing that you're trying to do with an anal rape joke?
Now, I just watched this movie last night. I believe what he says was, like, sleep with your back to the wall.
Right.
I don't think he literally implies if you bend over in the shower, another man will put his dick inside you.
Okay.
Because this is ostensibly for children.
Yes.
But it is sort of like it's a very odd note to end the movie on. Because, again,
for a movie that doesn't really know what it wants to be,
I mean,
tone-wise.
a character who is nothing but antagonistic to Triple H the entire movie is now calling him for advice.
Yeah, hand in hand. Yeah.
And that's the chaperone. Yeah. I guess Yeardley Smith kept her job, even though
she shouldn't. She really shouldn't.
She made so many administrative problems.
Yeah.
But you know what? With Gary Grubbs leading the school, there's no way Grubbs wouldn't do it.
No, like that.
No,
he believes in second chances. Anything that we didn't cover?
Probably, I don't know. I'm just looking at my notes, and I literally just wrote, just kill me already.
Okay.
So,
well, the one thing that I wanted to mention was early in the movie when Triple H is in his shitty apartment, he rests aside this one photograph that he has of his wife and daughter. Now, that is 2 different pictures that were composited together, because the baby's face is twice the size of the mother. They're looking in 2 completely different directions. One is like the wife's headshot, and the other one is just like a picture of a kid.
Oh, I thought of something that I wanted to bring up.
Yeah.
At the very start of the movie, when Triple H is getting out of jail, he has noticeably the worst fake beard I've ever seen in my entire life. And it's noticeable because we all know what Triple H looks like with a beard.
He looks great with a beard.
He looks great with a beard.
Yeah.
This thing looks terrible. Not only is it a fake beard, but we see him, he's all like, well, I'm going to be the chaperone now, so I got to shave this beard off. And they have him trim the fake beard, which only adds to its fakeness, which only shows the seams and the spirit gum fucking coming off. So, yeah, he looks like Tyler Mane.
Yeah.
Which is odd because he shouldn't look like Tyler Mane. He should look like Triple H. Tyler Mane, an actor we could conceivably do on a WrestleMania
You
sometime
really
in the
want
future.
to? I don't know if he's been in any other movies other than the Fox X-Men movies.
And he was Michael Myers.
Oh, all right.
I'm assuming he's been in something else.
Okay.
But anyway, The Chaperone.
Yeah.
Certain something?
What about it? No, not at all.
No.
I mean, I'm just going to repeat what I was saying before. I thought Ariel Winters, for a kid actor, was really good in this movie. I thought the comedy bits in this were just beyond stupid. And I don't know, if they had just put a little bit more care of attention into the family drama aspect of it, maybe it could have been one of the stronger efforts from WWE Studios. But that's just my 2 cents.
I'm trying to imagine a more dramatic version of this movie. It would have been more interesting, but I don't think it would have made it better.
No.
I think it would have added to the tonal problem that this movie already has.
Maybe.
If they were going to do a family comedy, they should have made it goofy goofballs McGillicuddy. They should have gone back and they should have rented Mr. Nanny and just done that. I'm not saying Mr. Nanny's a good movie, but like if this is the movie you're making, get the tone right and choose a wrestler
That fits the material better.
That fits the material. Triple H
And
is so wrong for this.
And maybe flesh out the supporting kid characters a little bit more.
Or any of the characters, really. Yeah. I mean, this isn't a terribly long movie. It's like an hour and 40 instead of an hour and
like
30.
A long movie.
But that extra 10 minutes really felt its length.
Yeah.
And, it's mirthless. Like, there's just, like, no joy to be found anywhere in this thing. You know exactly what type of movie this is supposed to be, and the entire time you're watching it, you're just thinking of the movies that do this better.
Yeah.
And you're just wishing you could have watched any of them instead. And it's a real fall from grace from the guy who brought us so many great 90s comedies.
Maybe the beginning of the end for the guy.
But as long as Lindsay Lohan wants to celebrate the spirit of Christmas,
He'll work.
He'll have work.
Yeah.
And someone who doesn't need to worry about getting work is Triple H because he runs the work.
Yep.
He decides who gets work. Well, maybe he doesn't. Again, we're shaky on what his actual job is. But he's probably secure for a while, and that's nice for him.
Great.
Well, that was The Chaperone.
Yeah. And we're off.
And we're off. WrestleMania.
It has begun.
It has begun. Our favorite time of year.
Don't know why.
Don't know. Have you looked outside? Have you seen what's going on out there?
It's beautiful. It's been like.
I'm not talking about the weather. It has been nice lately. I'm talking about society.
Oh yeah. It's no good.
Yeah, it's no good. Watch wrestler movies with us all month long. We'll be here. We're not going anywhere.
Nope.
And that was The Chaperone, directed by Stephen Herrick. If you like this episode, please check out our back catalog of episodes. If you go further back into the episodes, you will see that they are under the title of The Fuck Is This? Don't worry about it. It's the same show. It's just me. It's just Jameson. We're just here. We're just having a laugh. Sometimes there's a guest. There wasn't one this time, but maybe there'll be one in the future. You never know. You have to keep listening. That's what makes it a show. It's always changing. It's always moving. The universe is in flux.
All right, we'd like to thank Eddie Lamb for his fantastic theme music. You can follow us on all the social media.
Keep going. I'm more than happy to let you close this one out.
Oh, okay. Until next time.
I guess that was it.
Yeah.
I guess I always say I'm Kaz Leskard. You can follow me on Letterboxd.
Yeah.
And
I'm Jameson Raptor. I sometimes make web cartoons. And as Triple H said, suck it. Good ending. That's a good way to end the episode, I'd
I
say.
have nothing to add.
All right. Except that you are the Alpha and the Omega. You are that good.
HOTTOGO.